What's up everybody, and welcome to the fourth Java tutorial. In today's tutorial we're going to be working with variables and learning how to declare variables and concatenation and basically just an overall. So let's start with, we have our class, which is Orange. I named it Orange, public class Orange. It's publicly accessible to all the other classes. And our main method. Now we're going to declare variables. So when declaring a variable in Java, you must first give the data type. So there's going to be string, and then you give the name of the variable, what you want to call it or what you want to reference it as. So we're going to do first name, and you do the equal sign, which is the assignment, and then you put whatever you want to assign it to. So for this one, I'm just going to put my first name, which is Andrew, and you put those in parentheses, and then at the end of that statement you must have a semicolon. You must. So that is basically how to declare a variable. Let's go ahead and put in a comment here, just say declare variables. Now, let's do another one. So we're gonna do another string variable, and we're gonna do last name. All right, same thing. You're gonna have it, your data type, what you're gonna call the variable, what you're gonna reference that variable as. So this is the name of it, and then your assignment operator, which is right here, and then whatever you want to assign to that variable. So when I call this variable lName, this is what's going to show. It's not going to be lName. This equals that. So the left side is going to equal whatever you put on the right side. To make that more clear, we will go with, we'll put my paper color, string, and like you can come up with whatever you want to call variables. Obviously you should call it something similar to whatever the variable is going to be. So fave color, and then we'll put blue. Same thing, we have the data type, what the variable name is, the assignment, and then what value you give to this variable. All right, and then let's go ahead and tighten that up just a bit. There we go. And another variable is going to be for like numerics, for numbers. We are going to have like, so int. Int stands for integer. So that's the data type that I'm declaring. And we'll put age. And with integer, it has to be a whole number. So we'll just put 22. Now, integer, like I said, it has to be a whole number. It can't be a decimal, can't be a fraction. It must be a whole number. 22, 18, 15, 30. It just must be a whole number. It can't be 30 and a half, 30.5. It can't be 19 and a half. You get it. It must be a whole number. So now if we wanted to put like exact age, because obviously you might be 22 and a half or 22 and a quarter, you're going to want to use, it's called double. So double is another data type, and double has to do with using decimals. So basically, you're going to use a double whenever you have numbers on both sides of the decimal. So that would be, we'll put, for this, we're going to name it exact age, and then we'll put 22.56. So with integer, it must be a whole number. With double, it's a decimal, which means you have numbers on both sides of the decimal. All right, so now that we have our variables declared, we can go ahead and let's use these variables. So you have your classic, your print statement, and if anybody wants to know how I had it print this without typing out the whole thing, if you're on Eclipse, and I did a tutorial on Eclipse, but you type out SYSOUT and then hold Control, press space, and then it's gonna put this statement for you. Just a little pro tip on how to get that done quickly. All right, so we have first name, last name, favorite color, we have age, and we have exact age. So how are we gonna put these on the canvas? How are we gonna print these? So we'll put first name. Now those are in quotations, so that's going to output exactly what's in those quotations. Now, in order to concatenate, so basically combine, we need to use a plus sign, and then we will put. We're going to call our variable fname. Now, when we run this program, it will print first name, this exactly right here, and it will add fname. This plus means concatenate, so it's going to call this variable whatever fname is, which is right here, obviously Andrew, and then it's going to output that. Now the first thing we're going to do is we're going to run it just like this and see what happens. Okay, so it did exactly what we wanted it to do. It put first name Andrew. That's exactly what we wanted, but obviously without a space there, that doesn't look very good. So what we can do, there's two different options. We can either go up to the first name that we wrote and add a space here, because if we run it, it will add that space there. Or you can add in an empty string like that, and it'll be the same thing. So we have first name within this string right here, plus, which is concatenate, and then we have an empty string. We're using this actually as space. That's this space right here, and then plus again, which is concatenate, and then our first name. Now, just so you know, the system.out.println, what that does actually is it prints it to the screen, and when it has the ln at the end of println, what it does is it automatically goes down a line after that. So if we were to do the same thing with our last name, let's go ahead and do that. If we were to do the same thing with our last name, it's going to be on the next line down. See? So what that does is a print line, it goes to the next line. Now you can do just print. So what that does is it doesn't break to the next line after that. It just stays on the same line. So it would be like that. Now, let's make this look better. We'll delete that, delete this, and we're just going to put full name. Now what we can do here is, instead of having that empty string, it's easy just to put a space right there. And so we have full name, colon, space, and then we're going to concatenate it with first name plus an empty string for a space plus last name. Now, you have to make sure when you're calling these variables that you're using the exact spelling and the exact capitalization as you had on the first. So let's run this, and we should have full name Andrew Jones. Perfect. See the spaces? This space is right here. Right here. That's these two spaces. And then the Andrew is pulled from this variable, first name, which is declared up here and then we concatenate it with an empty string, which is right here, and then we have the last name, which is right here. All right, now just remember that in order to do that, we have to have the semicolon at the end. This is basically saying, all right, this statement is over at this point. Okay, so let's go ahead and put out age. So remember, if you want to type things onto the display, like an actual string, you have to put it in quotations. So let's put age, and then we are gonna call age. That simple. Now you'll notice that because this is print and not print line right here, it's just gonna show up right afterwards. So remember that print means that it's not gonna break a line. It's not gonna go to the next line after that statement. So if you have print line, that will automatically, after it's done outputting whatever you have in its parameters, it will go down to the next line and be ready for whatever next statement you have. Okay, so system.out.println again, and then we have age. Now, what if we want exact age? Same thing. And we're gonna want to call our variable that we created, that's exact age. And just like that, we have system.out.println exact age. Remember, that's within the quotations. And then plus, we're going to concatenate it with this variable right here. All right, now that we have all those on the screen, now we're going to go with the color. So instead of using the quotations and putting a string at the beginning, we're actually going to put the variable first. So we're going to put, so up here we have string. You'll see that favorite color is set to blue. So what we're going to want to do is you're going to call that variable, which is favorite color, and then we'll write what we want to do afterwards. So right now it would output blue plus whatever I put in the quotations here. So we'll say blue is my favorite color. Now you'll see here, see how I put this space here? That's because whenever you concatenate a variable with a string, it's just gonna go up right next to it. So if I didn't have this space here, it's just gonna say blue is my favorite color with no space between blue and is. So you want to add that space. We'll go ahead and run this, and you'll see that blue is my favorite color. So that is how you declare the variables and use them as well. And there's also concatenation in here. So you're going to want to have your string, and then you concatenate variables with strings with the plus sign. So we call the f name, that's set to Andrew, and then right here we used 2 quotation marks to create an empty string, and that is what gives us our spacing, and then plus concatenation to whatever variable this is, which is set to last name. And just for more examples, we have age, and then we called that variable exact age. Now you'll see that age is an integer, 22, so it's a whole number. An integer is always a whole number. Now if we want exact age, you're going to have a decimal, so you need to use double. There's also data types float and long, but that has to do with how much memory the data actually takes up. And right now you just need to worry about double. A double is a data type that you can use for the decimals. And right here, we have exact age, and then we just call that variable, and we concatenate it. And then same thing down here, favorite color, but we instead called the variable first, and then concatenated it with our sentence, our string. And there you go. I hope that helped you, and I will see you at the next tutorial.